This is David Smoke's statewide Texas high school football podcast on 365 Sports and powered by Smoaky.com and sponsored by Peter Chevrolet in Longview, an innovative third-generation family dealership dedicated to ethics, integrity, and the community, while creating friendly, intelligent, and transparent environment to assist with any automotive need, large or small.
McNair in the gun with under 2 minutes left, down 44-0, trying to get a score. English right side, and he will score. Touchdown, the senior, Raul English from 2 yards out.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. We've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. Sturdy Steel. We build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide. Batteries Plus. We have the person who can fix what you need with expert knowledge on batteries and have you on your way and good to go in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, with locations throughout the Southwest, serving up tasty food since 1989, including off I-35 in Waco. Next in line, Marco's Pizza, the fastest growing pizza brand in America. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. Pizza lovers get it with 5 locations in the Waco area. Bird Culchin Ford on the Loop and Highway 6 in Waco. And Waco's trusted Ford dealer since 1936. And customers know they can expect us to be fair, honest, affordable, and always committed to the tradition of quality service.
Week number 4, Texas high school football. We saw some bangers, games of highly ranked teams against each other. We have some evidence, as we say, like high school, college, NFL. The scores don't lie. And we will look at some of the key wins. Also, a tremendous game from a senior running back at Gerald High School that we'll have and what it meant to that school and their records, but also compare it to what are the state records for single yards rushing in a game in Texas high school football. We'll hear from Waxahachie head coach Shane Tollison. He's done a heck of a job with the Indians. They're in that district with Duncanville and DeSoto. And, I mean, they're playing straight up. They have Duncanville this week. We'll have Shane on the show. His hiring into high school at Waxahachie was not easy, and we'll have that story for you in a minute. And also the best games of the week, we'll have that. Garrett Ross running the mothership, thanks to Peter Chevrolet, one of our great sponsors, Baylor Scott and White, Southwest Sports Medicine, also Bubba's 33, Sturdy Steel, and also Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, and our great friends at Batteries Plus. So, key wins last week. Here are 6 or 8 of them. North Crowley, they won it all last year, and at the end of the year, they may have been one of the best teams ever. And they beat Geyer 28-27 in a great game. Remember the week before, they beat DeSoto. South Oak Cliff, we knew this was going to be a knockdown, drag-out. It was. South Oak Cliff winning 20-17. Also, Midway, in a game against Rouse, I bring this up. It was not one of the top-ranked games, but it was part of the games we mentioned last week, beat Rouse out of Leander. The game was at Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park, 38-28. London Morgan, the quarterback at Rouse, was 42 of 57 for 380-plus yards and 4 touchdowns. He's committed to play at Navy. He is something else, but Midway was able to get it done. Lathan Wissington with 147 yards, 2 scores rushing, and a tremendous return of a kickoff for a touchdown of 99 yards. Fort Bend Ridgepoint beat Bridgeland, but beat them easily, 31-3. Westlake, 35, Atascocita, 28, one of the better wins. How about A&M Consolidated? They have College Station this week. They beat Pflugerville Weiss, 35-28. Charles Foster's first-year head coach at University High School. They went over to China Spring and won, 48-24. Kilgore beating Gilmer's not the story, 66-6. What in the world? I couldn't believe that. I actually reached out to Clint Fuller, the head coach at Kilgore, about a couple of things, and he just said, well, it just snowballed. One of those things where Kilgore just could do nothing wrong. Also, Winsboro, want to shout out to Josh Finney, does a great job, beat Honeygrove 63-20. Noli Carroll, quarterback, is having a great year again. Also, La Vega, Don Hyde beat West Orange Stark 44-20. In that game, Courtney Parr, the quarterback, had over 300 yards passing. And Franklin, 63, Lorena, 49. I bring this up because Franklin had 701 yards rushing And it's not the first time they've gone over 700 yards. They run the ball as well as anybody ever. Bryson Washington now at Baylor. Remember, they also Jaden Jackson last year, big-time player and recruit. They had 4 players over 100 yards, another who had 95. Franklin had 701 yards rushing. Amazing, Mark Fannin and the Lions. Also, here's a game from Gerald running. I send out emails every Thursday, Friday night, late, when games are over. And then I do a early Saturday and then a reminder Sunday morning to compile as many nominations as I can for both Smoaky.com, my website player of the week list, and also for Built Ford Tough, the statewide players of the week. And I get this text from Alan Hare, the head coach at Gerald. Kenneth Johnson, look at this. 391 yards against Caldwell, broke a school record. You can see Tony Brown held that record. This is the crazy part. Kenneth had 11 carries for 391 and also a school record rushing yards, tied the school record, 5 touchdowns in that game. Also, here's another note. Compared to the all-time single game rushing yards, it's nuts. Matt Godek, I remember listening to this game one night when I didn't have a high school broadcast. I was listening to this broadcast. 599 yards against Plano East for McKinney back in 2017. Darrell Evans of Somerville held the record for a long, long time, as you can see, almost 20 years against Thrall. And then DeMarque Foster at Wichita Falls. Hershey, 580 against Decatur. Tyrone Swoops, remember him? The big, strong-looking quarterback in Texas who was a pretty good thrower, but he was known for what he did in high school as a runner. At White Right, beat Tom Bean, had 560, and Deion Williams of Morton Ranch against Taylor at 547. To give you one note of perspective, the record that was there forever was Kenneth Hall in 1953 had 520, and that stayed that way until the late 90s, and now you're seeing guys running for over 300 and 400 yards left and right. When we come back, Shane Tollison, the head coach at Waxahachie. They have Duncanville. He's gone into that program in a district where you were Duncanville, DeSoto, and then Cedar Hill, of course, was good. And they are right there with him, man, and they have Duncanville this week. We'll have him next. This is the Statewide High School Football Podcast.
My go-to guy. Can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
Car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a G-Fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Peters Ram in Longview is gearing up for this football season during the Make This the Summer event going on now. Make all the right moves by getting 25% off MSRP on new select Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cabs. The season is looking good with the largest selection of new Ram trucks at Peters Ram during the Make This the Summer event. Online at peterscars.com.
At Sturdy Steel, we build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide, we're proud of our reputation for dependable, high-quality work and strong client relationships that stand the test of time. From concept to installation, our team of skilled drafters, welders, and installers takes pride in delivering seating solutions designed to last. With a focus on dependability, transparency, and service, we are here to make the unique needs of architects, contractors, schools, and venues across the country. We ensure every project is seamless, sturdy, and ready for generations of fans to enjoy. That's Sturdy Steel. This is David Smoke's statewide Texas high school football podcast on 365 Sports and powered by Smoaky.com and sponsored by Peter Chevrolet in Longview, an innovative third-generation family dealership dedicated to ethics, integrity, and the community, while creating friendly, intelligent, and transparent environment to assist with any automotive need, large or small.
McNair in the gun with under 2 minutes left, down 44-0, trying to get a score. English right side, and he will score. Touchdown, the senior, Raul English from 2 yards out.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. We've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. Sturdy Steel. We build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide. Batteries Plus. We have the person who can fix what you need with expert knowledge on batteries and have you on your way and good to go in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, with locations throughout the Southwest, serving up tasty food since 1989, including off I-35 in Waco. Next in line, Marco's Pizza, the fastest growing pizza brand in America. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. Pizza lovers get it with 5 locations in the Waco area. Bird Culchin Ford on the Loop and Highway 6 in Waco. And Waco's trusted Ford dealer since 1936. And customers know they can expect us to be fair, honest, affordable, and always committed to the tradition of quality service.
Waxahachie football coach Shane Tollison with me, David Smoke, the statewide football podcast, and Waxahachie 11-6A Duncanville this week, and what Shane has done at Waxahachie is special, as that is, we've known for a while, one hell of a district. Shane, thank you very much. When you saw the job at Waxahachie and you interviewed for that job and took it over, they have history, the 92 state championship team, Scott Phillips, they've been good, and then there's been some times of up and down. What was it about that job initially that you said, I want to go there?
Well, being, I'm raised in Corsicana, Texas. So I grew up playing Waxahachie, just the blue collar style of this community, the type of kids that are here, just how they feel about Friday night and football. It's always been an attractive job. I just remember growing up in the 90s, being one of the powerhouses, setting the tone in powerlifting, setting the tone in turf fields, and just being a leader in athletics. And, when this job opened up, I didn't know really what was going on. I know they just barely been bumped up to 6A. I know that was a huge jump for this district because this town is growing. I don't know if they've widened the roads or yet, but it's growing. It's here. And so, but I didn't care. I know it's in this community, and you build a wall around this town. And the talent and the commitment from these kids, these parents, and this administration to football, I think this is going to be a special place. Well,
I remember, and of course, I'm covered high school football since 1981, but Waxahachie, Ennis, Corsicana, that you're right, man. That was some dynamics that we saw with the history and tradition of that district. How much did coaching under at Denton Ryan, Joey Florence, we know his legacy, and obviously with Coach Hennigan, how much of that set you up to where you are now?
Man, I hit the lottery. I begged my way and to get in that coaching tree of Joey Florence, to be under his reign and to soak him up. And he always said too that he always thought Waxahachie is probably one of the best 5A jobs, at the time when he said that. But I think it set it up because I learned from him and Dave Hennigan of how to run a first-class program, how to treat kids right. And I think if you treat kids and coaches right, I think winning is the byproduct of that.
I've got to ask you this because I did send an email to both Coach Florence and also to Dave. So what did Coach Florence tell you when you first interviewed with him? Did he – something about – he did not like –
He hates college guys.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember it. He didn't. And then first off, you need to know this. He didn't hire me in my first interview. I told you I begged.
I know.
So
he said to me, I did not hire him the first time we interviewed him. I pinned him as a college guy. Ask him about that experience.
he sure did. I was coming in to DC. He told me that I'm going to love it here and you're going to really like coaching at Ryan. So I texted my wife, hey, pack the house. I think I might have the job.
Oh.
I go sit down. I said, hey, can I meet the head coach, Joey Flores, here? And he goes, yeah, come back here. I meet him. And he said, no, I'm not hiring you. I don't like college guys. Well, I text my wife, hey, you better start unpacking those boxes because I didn't get this job.
Well, that made you appreciate it when he did. I mean, that's the part about it. And then you are a college guy and Arkansas State, et cetera. Well, first of all, does that mean that like college players or whatever, is there a certain type of way they carry themselves, or what was the concern about you being a college guy?
The concern is, and again, I might have been tagged as a college guy at the time, but I've always wanted to be a high school football coach in Texas. But I married an Arkansas girl.
Oh yeah.
And I promised her dad I would keep her close to home. So I stayed in Arkansas for 10 years, coaching college at Southern Arkansas University and Arkansas State University just for her. But the reason is, and Coach Flo's right, because now I'm the same way. I don't want to hire a college guy because this is a special place in Texas. Okay, it's a fraternity. It's a privilege, not a right, to be a high school football coach in the state of Texas. You know, all the stuff, the training we have to go through, and the pour into kids here in this state, and the way we treat it. It's a fraternity. So, in college guys, sometimes they'll either get fired from a job, or they'll be in between jobs, and you'll hire them, and they'll leave you in the spring for the next college job. And you win championships in the spring. You don't win in the fall. Your program is being built in the spring and the summer, and you need your coaches there. And Joey was going through a phase where he was hiring some college guys, and they were dipping out on him in the spring on other coaching jobs. That's always the fear. I still believe there's great coaches in college football. I would never not hire them because of those things. But my question always is, not that you want to be a high school coach. Do you want to be a Texas high school football coach?
Right. Are you just are you just a stop like for a cup of coffee onto whatever else they want? You were at Haltom one year. Obviously, we mentioned at Arkansas State where you played, Southern Arkansas, among other places as well. So, you know, what you've done at Waxahachie, you and I have shared information when Waxahachie was in the same district and Midway got bumped into that district, which was not good for them. Really, for a lot of people, as you know, with Duncanville and then DeSoto and then Cedar Hill was still pretty good, and they've kind of tried to turn the corner again. And I remember getting information from you, and then I watched the games. I love the way how well your team is coached. But you have now, even though there hasn't been a deep run, like a deep run, you have turned that corner. I could see it coming. How? What led to that in that district, which you could easily get turned over pretty easily?
Well, it starts in the home. It starts hiring good coaches. It starts recruiting your middle school kids. Love your kids. We have a saying right now: I love you more than I hate them. So it's staying true to Waxahachie. I'm not going to not coach a kid who moves there. That's not what I'm saying. But it's making sure you don't lose your good players to any of those teams that you're playing. That's number one. It's getting the right men around you. It's getting a culture set from the ground all the way to the top with your middle schools, your administration. We're all seeing and pulling in the same direction. You know, I'll say it like this: you can water a bamboo for 4 years before you ever see any evidence of a growing tree. Any evidence, 4 years, it will not grow. But after that fourth year of watering that thing over and over, it will grow 90 feet in 6 weeks. So that's the corner you're talking about. I've been seeing it with our kids because they've just kept watering. We kept watering our coaches, kept watering it. We kept seeing to our players. I didn't say we're perfect. We still got a long way to go, by the way. And to me, and Coach Flo will say this, hey, until you beat one of those big two,
yep,
what have you done? And he's right. And I hate to say that it's not a failure of these kids and these coaches, but that is one of the humps that we have to get over at some point to be in that conversation.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, we know what their history is, what Reggie's done, and also Claude. And but I noticed that you were getting in the postseason. You made that 3-deep run against and lost to Westfield 2 or 3 years ago. But I could tell that you guys, and like for example, the playoff game 2 years ago against Midway, it came down to a snap and a bobble. That would have been a tie game, maybe in overtime. Then last year you came in and just thumped them. I mean, it was never close with what you did. So you mentioned Joey and, of course, Dave Hennigan, who's now and still at Ryan. His son's now on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hell of a player at Memphis and at Denton Ryan. What did you learn? You mentioned Coach Florence, but, man, they won. They were when Coach Florence got to Denton Ryan. This is about Shane Tollison, but when he got there, they were 1-9 the year before, and then went to 4 consecutive state championship games, winning the ones in the middle. Did you learn about the process and also understand their past when you got there about how, like you said, the bamboo, that it takes sometimes a little bit of time? He won right away, which was staggering.
Right. And again, it sometimes just takes a little bit of direction. I think they had them in-house. I think they had the pieces there. It's just a little bit of direction. And one thing Joey Florence is really good at is kids speak. Kids love him. They want to play for him. I mean, I've listened to him talk to the team. Hell, I want to play for him.
Yep.
And what him and David Thomas, the defensive coordinator there that they had at the time, was a perfect marriage. But one thing they did do is they love kids. They poured into coaches, mentored coaches, and it's all about putting kids in the right positions. And then, hey, put your best players out there, whether it's offense and defense, play both ways, whatever you got to do. But it's probably like I said when I started the conversation, I hit the lottery to even say that I'm from the Joey Florence and Dave Thomas tree.
Well, they've done that, and of course Hennigan has done a great job. He shared something with me. Well, one thing, I want to go to bamboo real quick. I once was in an apartment complex when I first moved to Waco until I could figure out where I was going to live. And they had like a big high, a bunch of trees off, a little field, maybe 30 yards of grass where dogs could run around. But there was bamboo everywhere. Bamboo not only doesn't grow for 4 years, but when it does, as you said, it becomes like a skyscraper. That, I want to use another word, but that stuff is hard. I mean, you can't cut it. You got to have you
can't get rid of it.
A blowtorch. You cannot. And once it starts, it's like weeds on a bad day early on in the spring when your grass is trying to grow. You missed the game. You had Ennis. You just beat Forney. The game with Coppell, that was the weekend. Well, there's been a couple of them when weather's gotten in the way. How much did that affect you not having that one extra game?
I'd like to play. I'd like to see how that game would have ended up in the second half. And we got back about midnight, and I took our football team in there. We lifted weights until about 1 a.m. I told them, I said, guys, we're gonna finish this game one way or the other. We're gonna feel good about it. So, they got the music jamming and the kids were bumping around. So I was very proud of them how they responded to it. But I don't think it has much to do. I mean, Duncanville's only played one. They've got one game versus Stock, which I feel like they handled them pretty well. I know the score is not an indicator of that, but if you watch the game, they handled it pretty well. I think they just had some explosive plays on them, but I'm not too worried about not finishing it. We just got to play. I mean, to beat a team like Duncanville I don't fear them, but I respect them and what Reggie's done there. We're going to have to play really, really good and clean and take care of the football.
One more thing. When you were at Denton Ryan, and now, of course, Shane Tollison at Waxahachie. I love what I've seen slowly but surely with what you're doing methodically. Your son, Cade, who's a hell of a linebacker. I remember that the last couple of years when I saw you when you played against Midway. There apparently was a Meet the Raiders, which is kind of like a kickoff thing that teams, high schools do, band, cheer, etc. And at the end of the night, you couldn't find your son, Cade.
Yes.
What and where was he?
If you're talking about the time that he was at the top of a tree.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He still does stuff like that, and he's 17. Is that what Hennigan told you?
Yeah. He told me that you couldn't find him. And this is when he was a younger kid. Now he's just a hellacious linebacker. He said that you couldn't find him. As it turns out, Cade had climbed a 40-foot tall cypress tree behind the stands and was at the top.
Yes, that is a true story.
Like Tarzan or something.
Like Tarzan. Yeah, they never wear shoes. So, but crazy time, fun time. I learned, like I said, I learned a lot from Dave Hennigan as well. I probably wouldn't be in this position too if he wouldn't have took a chance on me, hired me as the defensive coordinator. I owe a lot to him and what he's done and what that whole school's done with Vernon Reeves, the principal.
Yep.
To everybody, that whole community, and I'm a beneficiary of 100% amazing people in Denton.
Well, and you've done a heck of a job with what you've done. You mentioned one other thing to me. David Gunn, your college coach was your spiritual mentor. What was it you learned most from him?
My senior year, I go from linebacker to fullback, H-back, going into a room in a running back room that didn't not many kids look like me in there. And hear this black man coaching me and keep telling me that there's enough glory in the world for everybody. And I go from starting every year of my life for 13 years, never sitting on the bench, to third string when this new staff comes in. It's never nothing David Gunn's ever said to me. It's how he treated me. I watched him with his wife, Alicia. I watched him with his daughter, Bethany, and I just sit back and I watched the man love his players, his family, and I saw the light of God in him. And I'd rather see a sermon than hear one. And every day of my life, coaching or playing under him, and even coaching now with him at Arkansas State at the time, it was so magnetic, and he brought me closer to God. He's the reason why I have the relationship with God today is because of him.
Hey, Shane, thank you for that testimony. Duncanville this week. Obviously, you got to get through that. Then DeSoto, they didn't do you any favors in that district, but they also have to look at it as well. Duncanville's got to say, man, we got to start with Waxahachie, and DeSoto knows you're coming in a couple of weeks. Thanks for what you're doing, what you've done. Great to have you on the podcast, and good luck against Duncanville this week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate what you do for high school sports.
Thank you. Shane Tollison, head football coach at Waxahachie, on the statewide high school football podcast. Coming up, the elite games in week 4 in high school football around the state of Texas, including that one. I'm David Smoke, Garrett Ross, and this is 365 Sports.
My go-to guy. Can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
You have car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a G-Fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Peters Ram in Longview is gearing up for this football season during the Make This the Summer event going on now. Make all the right moves by getting 25% off MSRP on new select Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cabs. The season is looking good with the largest selection of new Ram trucks at Peters Ram during the Make This the Summer event. Online at peterscars.com.
At Sturdy Steel, we build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide, we're proud of our reputation for dependable, high-quality work and strong client relationships that stand the test of time. From concept to installation, our team of skilled drafters, welders, and installers takes pride in delivering seating solutions designed to last. With a focus on dependability, transparency, and service, we are here to make the unique needs of architects, contractors, schools, and venues across the country. We ensure every project is seamless, sturdy, and ready for generations of fans to enjoy. That's Sturdy Steel. This is David Smoke's statewide Texas high school football podcast on 365 Sports and powered by Smoaky.com and sponsored by Peter Chevrolet in Longview, an innovative third-generation family dealership dedicated to ethics, integrity, and the community, while creating friendly, intelligent, and transparent environment to assist with any automotive need, large or small.
McNair in the gun with under 2 minutes left, down 44-0, trying to get a score. English right side, and he will score. Touchdown, the senior, Raul English from 2 yards out.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. We've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. Sturdy Steel. We build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide. Batteries Plus. We have the person who can fix what you need with expert knowledge on batteries and have you on your way and good to go in no time. Batteries Plus. The experts in charge. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, with locations throughout the Southwest, serving up tasty food since 1989, including off I-35 in Waco. Next in line, Marco's Pizza, the fastest growing pizza brand in America. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. Pizza lovers get it with 5 locations in the Waco area. Bird Culchin Ford on the Loop and Highway 6 in Waco. And Waco's trusted Ford dealer since 1936. And customers know they can expect us to be fair, honest, affordable, and always committed to the tradition of quality service.
So every week we wrap up the show. We've gone through last week's best wins. We talked to a coach or a player or two and some historical notes. These are the best games according to our great friend Jerry Forrest at pigskinprep.com. The number all the way to your right, the blue number, is the total added index of where teams are ranked in their specific classification. For example, Tidehaven and Ganado, 2 unbeaten teams, 4. They're ranked 2 and 2 in their respective divisions. And so that's 4. And then you go down the list. That game's obviously last year, Ganado won easily 42-6. Kilgore and Pleasant Grove, 2 Alphas in East Texas. Last year, Kilgore won that game in double overtime. That's a big game. Chapel Hill, Carthage, as good as Chapel Hill is in that area, Carthage, Pleasant Grove, Gilmer, Henderson, although they're a little slightly down. Carthage trying to go to 3-0, 45-14 a year ago to beat Chapel Hill. There's that Hitchcock-Belleville game. That's sneaky good. LBJ and Episcopal, Parish Episcopal, LBJ won that game 48-47 a year ago in overtime. South Lake Carroll, Eunice Trinity once played, it's been a while, in front of 60-plus thousand. 60-plus thousand. South Lake Carroll won the game. It was a low-scoring game, but they will put a bunch of people into the stadium. 56-48, South Lake Carroll won a year ago. Malakoff has 2 losses. And they play Grandview, who just beat Conley. So tough start for Jamie Driscoll, but playing really, really good people. Westlake and Cibolo Steel. Westlake won big last year. There's a game in 3A in East Texas, Jefferson and Pittsburgh. Anna will play Lovejoy, and it's a pick'em game with Seth Parr at Anna, who coached Sawyer Robertson in high school, Todd Dodge at Lovejoy. Alvarado, 55-42 over Conley. They put up a bunch of points last week against Robinson. They've done a great job. We featured them last year. They are explosive. That game is at Conley. Also, you can hear the game on 107.9 The Bull in the Waco area. Lampasas and Wimberley, close game last year. Lampasas won by 8. Van and Sunnyvale, Van won 28-14. Last year, that's a tight game. There's the Duncanville Waxahachie. Look at the number to the left of Duncanville, not 9. That's where they're ranked in the state right now, but a 3-point pick according to Pigskin Prep. That's low for any time Duncanville plays unless it's DeSoto or somebody. They won by 24 last year, and we just spoke with the head coach at Waxahachie, Shane Tollison. And finally, A&M Consolidated. What a win last week. I mentioned that last week with a huge win, and they play College Station right next to each other. College Station's 0-3. consolidated last year, won by a couple of touchdowns. So those are the games, best games of the upcoming week. Enjoy week number 4 of the Texas high school football season. Some schools have begun district. Some will start this week. Some will have byes. And then pretty soon in a couple of weeks, everybody is full throttle in the districts. Of course, those games and those records count towards who makes the playoffs. For Garrett Ross, all of our great sponsors, we appreciate you. I'm David Smoke. Have a great weekend on the Texas High School Football Statewide podcast.